5 people are dead while 14 others are missing following a boat mishap in Nguru local government area of Yobe State. Friends and family gather in London for the funeral prayers in honor of the late associates of Anthony Joshua, Tina Gami and Lateef Kevin Ayodele, who died in a car crash in Lagos. And U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the United States is not at war with Venezuela the day after the capture of President Nicolas Maduro and his wife. We begin tonight with a directive. President Bola Tinubu has directed the Minister of Defense, the Chief of Defense Staff, the Service Chiefs, the Inspector General of Police, and the Director General of the Departments of State Services to track down and apprehend those responsible for the Kasuwa Daji attack, ensuring that they are swiftly brought to justice. He also directed security agencies to urgently rescue all the abducted victims. According to a statement by his Special Advisor on Media and on Information and Strategy, Bayo Ononuga, the President issued the directives on Sunday in response to the recent killings of villagers in Niger State by terrorists reportedly fleeing Sokoto and Zamfara states following a U.S. airstrike on Christmas Eve. President Tinubu strongly condemned that attack on the Kasuwa Daji community and the abduction of women and children. He extended his heartfelt condolences to the families of the victims, as well as to the government and people of Niger State. The statement reads in part, "These terrorists have tested the resolve of our country and its people. They must face the full consequences of their criminal actions, regardless of who they are or their motives. They will be hunted down. All those who aid, abet, or enable them in any way will be caught and brought to justice." The president also called on Nigerians to remain united and resolute in the face of this tragedy, warning against the divisive rhetoric that could threaten national security and cohesion during this difficult period. Meanwhile, the Nigerian army has announced the scores of bandits were neutralized during a coordinated ground and air operation following attacks in several communities in Kano State. The army reported that the bandits attacked Shanong and Tsayanwav local government areas on the night of January the 1st, with cash assaults extending into the early hours of January the 2nd. The troops of the Joint Task Force swiftly repelled those attacks, inflicting heavy casualties on the attackers. Military sources stated that the fleeing bandits were tracked from Kano to Kadowa village in Matazu local government area in neighboring Katsina State, where the air component and Operation Fasanyama carried out a decisive strike supported by aerial intelligence surveillance and reconnaissance missions that ensured precise targeting. Despite efforts by governments across Nigeria's north-central zone to protect stability and project it, the region remains fragile, with insecurity continuing to cast a long shadow. For more than a decade now, Benue, often described as Nigeria's food basket due to its fertile land alongside Kogi and Kwara states, have faced relentless violent attacks that have disrupted farming, restricted movement, and even worsened food shortages, leaving communities vulnerable. The special report examines the human and economic toll and insecurity in that region, drawing on eyewitness accounts and assessing ongoing initiatives aimed at curbing this violence.
On June the 13th, 2025, farming communities and settlements at Yelwata, a border community in Benue State, came under attack by armed men. One of the survivors, while recounting his ordeal, says 5 members of his family were killed by the attackers.
I said, let me come here. Whether the government has something to do with us, maybe it can help us. That is the reason why I am here, sir. Because it affects me. They kill my father on this crisis.
The community, an agro-allied processing hub, became deserted while displaced community members made do in an IDP camp in Makurdi, the Benue State capital. 6 months after, One of the community leaders in the IDP camp appealed for security support from the government to enable them to return and defend their land against external aggression.
Going back to our home is a solution. We cannot depend on government alone. Our government cannot continue feeding us. So we want to go back so that people can access their farms that are closer. You know, some women, they plant vegetables, some have nearby farms around them. And if we don't go back, automatically we are telling the world that these people will come and take over our land.
However, an indigene of the community who lost over 34 family members in the attack says local communities need to volunteer information to security agencies in the wake of the U.S. designation of Nigeria as a country of particular interest.
We believe that with sincerity from the part of the Nigerian government, a solution will be found, and executed appropriately. So as much as we continue to call for the resettlement of our people back to their ancestral lands, we also very vehemently call for the arrest of all the perpetrators of this act by the same Nigerian government in order to show her sincerity in this fight.
However, Governor Hyacinth Alia, while presenting the 2026 appropriation bill, alludes to the security challenges, even as he says peace has been restored.
Coordinated attacks from terrorists and criminal elements. Benue State did not bow. We responded with courage, discipline, and unity of purpose. And so today, a relative peace has returned to those affected communities.
In neighboring Kogi State, the issue of kidnapping along the Lokoja-Okene Highway remains a nightmare for travelers. The Obajana-Lokoja Road, an alternative, is not better, leaving residents at the mercy of kidnappers who terrorize that axis. Insecurity is even more worrisome in Kwara State, which was largely peaceful before the third and fourth quarters of 2025. Kwara State was jolted with an attack on Bambala community in Ifelodun local government area, with several villagers kidnapped. Another attack on the church in Eruku of Ekiti local government left 3 dead and 23 kidnapped. Though the victims were rescued by security operatives, the attacks continued in other communities, especially Ishapa, with the abduction of the traditional ruler of Bayagan.
I also want to attribute this to lack of sincerity on the part of government. When I say government, I'm not particular about a state government, but government generally. Why? Because they didn't, build the capacity of the security agencies, especially the police. The military have taken over the duty of police, which, the duty of the police is to maintain peace and order in the country, while the military is for external and sovereignty. But now every little thing you drive the police. So they have reduced the capacity of the military, and the police has always been put by one side by the government.
Of the 3 senatorial districts, both Kwara South and North senatorial districts continue to experience intermittent attacks. As the state government, in collaboration with the Office of the National Security Advisor, collaborate to curtail the attacks, with several achievements recorded leading to the rescue of victims and dislodging of the attackers, residents remain optimistic that peace will return to the affected areas.
At least 25 people have been confirmed dead, while 14 others remain missing after a canoe capsized in Nguru local government area of Yobe State. The accident occurred about 7:48 p.m. on Saturday as a canoe carrying 52 passengers was traveling from Adiyani in Jigawa to Garbi community in Yobe. The Yobe State Emergency Management Agency says 13 passengers were rescued and search and rescue operations are ongoing. Most of the victims are believed to be fishermen returning to their bays. Governor Mai Malabuni has expressed his condolences to the affected families, directing that immediate medical and logistical support be provided to the survivors. Nguru is about 230 kilometers from Damaturu, the Yobe State capital.
Commuters from Adiani village in Guri, local government area of Jigawa State, approximately over 50 of them were coming down to Guru in Yobe State. And unfortunately, the sad incident occurred within Yobe State, and it led to loss of lives. As we speak now, about 26 dead bodies were recovered, and 13 people were saved, and we are still searching for the remaining ones, which is approximately 14. His Excellency, Yobe State Governor Malabuni, has directed that all those that have sustained injuries should be given the necessary medical attention they deserve, and search and rescue should be intensified so that the corpses will be recovered and united with their families for burial preparations. Our team, search and rescue team, are on ground, community leaders, community stakeholders, community volunteers, the youth of those communities, the security organizations have been immensely supportive in the search and rescue operations, and we'll keep giving you update as the time goes on.
The Northern State Governors Forum has condemned in stronger terms the recent terrorist attack in Niger State, describing it as cruel assault on innocent citizens and a serious threat to the peace and livelihoods of the people. In a statement on behalf of his colleagues, the forum's chairman and governor of Gombe State, Inuwa Yahya, expressed shock and outrage over the incident, saying it has caused immense grief for families, disrupted economic activities, and unsettled otherwise peaceful communities. Governor Yahya also described the target on market women, traders, and other law-abiding citizens as morally reprehensible, striking at the heart of communal harmony and regional economic life. He called on security agencies to intensify efforts to apprehend the perpetrators and ensure they face justice. The NSGF has also mourned the tragic boat accident in Yobe, which claimed 25 lives, emphasizing the urgent need to prioritize safety across all modes of transportation. The forum also asks authorities to intensify search and rescue operations, provide immediate medical care for survivors, and review and enforce safety protocols to prevent similar tragedies. The Janaza funeral prayer for Anthony Joshua's close associates in Agami and Abdul Latif Kevin Ayodele was held today at London Central Mosque. The two men tragically died in a road accident in Nigeria last Monday, in which Joshua, a passenger in the vehicle, escaped with minor injuries. Gami's funeral took place at Hendon Cemetery and crematorium at noon, followed by a joint wake for both men at Cavendish Banquet Hall in northwest London. Anthony Joshua, his 36-year-old former heavyweight boxing champion born in Watford, has been deeply affected by this loss, as both Gami and Ayodele played key roles in his professional career and inner circle. Our London correspondent Juliana Olainka has the details.
Well, today here in London, the global boxing community, alongside family and friends, is marking the loss of Sina Gami and Abdul Latif Lats Ayodele, two men whose influence on the career and life of Anthony Joshua extended far beyond the ring. Their janazah prayers are taking place here at the London Central Mosque, following that fatal road crash in Nigeria just a couple of days before the new year that claimed both men's lives. The accident occurred when the Lexus SUV carrying Joshua and members of his team collided with a stationary truck on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway in Ogun State. Joshua survived with minor injuries and has since returned here to the United Kingdom. Now, in the aftermath of the crash, Nigerian police have charged the driver of the vehicle, Adeniyi Mobolaji Kayode, with dangerous driving causing death. The case is due to return to court on the 20th of this month, which is a development that has once again drawn attention to persistent road safety failures on major Nigerian highways, where stationary vehicles and inadequate warning systems continue to prove deadly. Now, this morning has also seen Anthony Joshua break his public silence for the first time since the crash. In a post that was shared to Instagram, the world heavyweight champion released an image alongside what appears to be perhaps the parents of Gami and Ayodele, offering a quiet but powerful tribute to two men widely regarded as central figures in his personal and professional life. Now, today's gathering brings together mourners from across communities and faiths, lives united in prayer and remembrance as London bears witness to the loss of two figures described repeatedly by those closest to them, not as colleagues, but as family. Juliana Olayinka reporting for Channels TV News in London.
Our thoughts and prayers remain with the family. In part two, after the break, as part of our sector-by-sector review for the year 2025, tonight we turn our focus on an assessment of how the education sector performed in the year under review. Please join us again.
That never slows. Chase the whispers of silence in the rush of the ordinary. Dare to feel something extraordinary. This is more than a moment. It's a feeling poured richly into every sip. It's creamy, alluring, bold, refined. A taste that caresses the senses and stays dreamy. A pleasure that lingers like a dream. The warmth you share again and again. Ivory cream. Rich, smooth, creamy.
Since Nigeria's independence, we have been building. But beyond roads and bridges, we built aspirations to connect and to unite across geographical divides. Beyond houses, we built strong families and relationships. Beyond offices, we built foundations for forging Africa's formidable economic powerhouse. Beyond schools, we built social, intellectual, and national development. Beyond hospitals, we built healthy and productive communities. Beyond sports facilities, we built the passion of a nation. And today, we are not just a leader in sustainable building solutions and innovation. Together, you and us have built the foundations of yesterday and today. Together, we'll build the next possibilities. Lafarge, beyond buildings.
Distinctive quality ingredients by Intercontinental Distillers Limited.
If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, broadcasting live from Lagos. A reminder of our main stories. President Bola Tinubu directs security agencies to track down the terrorists responsible for the attack in Kasuwandaji, Niger State, and ensure they are brought to justice. At least 25 people are dead, while 14 others are missing following a boat mishap in Nguru, local government area of Yobe State. Friends and family gather in London for funeral prayers in honor of the late associates of Anthony Joshua, Sinagami, and Lateef Kevin Ayodele, who died in a car crash in Lagos. And U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says United States is not at war with Venezuela just one day after the capture of President Nicolas Maduro and his wife. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has received strong backing in Ahoda West, the local government area of Rivers State, with political leaders from across party lines pledging their allegiance to him. and to President Bola Tinubu ahead of the 2027 elections. The show of support is coming during the former governor's political consolidation efforts in Ahoda West earlier today, where a large number of his supporters turned out to reaffirm their loyalty and commitment to him.
Continuing his thank you tour of Rivers State, FCT Minister Nyesom Wike is warmly received in Akinima, the administrative headquarters of Ahoda West local government area. The visit draws a massive crowd cutting across the PDP and APC, with stakeholders declaring their readiness to follow Mr. Wike's political direction going forward.
Everybody say your name is Yahweh. Can I hear you say your name is Yahweh? You are the miracle working.
Your Excellency, the good people of Ahoda West and the bad people of Ahoda West, we have decided that wherever you will instruct for us to follow, we will follow.
Rest assured that come 2027, Ahoda West is going to deliver a result, especially working with my brother here in a coalition, the Renewed Hope family. We are going to deliver and you'll be very happy.
In his response, the FCT minister expresses satisfaction with the show of unity, describing Rivers State as a model where party structures have collapsed in support of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
I told the country, I never hid it. I said, listen, as far as Bola Ahmed Tinubu is concerned, there's nothing to think about it. He has to complete his 8 years because he has shown Rivers State love. Who would ever believe in this world that a Rivers man will be a minister of the Federal Capital Territory? Who would ever believe that? And by the grace of God, we are doing very well. You can see that Rivers State is respected because of what we are doing in the Federal Capital Territory.
Mr. Wike also issues a warning to political rivals, insisting that the next political contest in Rivers State will not be business as usual.
We are lucky. We are not opposing Mr. President. Are we opposing him? No. We agree that he will go. But Rivers State to all. This one. You don't say can you delay now. But we will get somebody who we can trust, who we can go home and sleep with our 2 eyes closed.
The visit also features endorsements from the local government chairman, members of the National Assembly, and support groups, all describing the minister as a stabilizing force in Rivers politics. As political activities gradually build towards 2027, the Ahoda West visit further signals shifting alignments and growing momentum around President Tinubu's re-election bid in Rivers State. Charles Oporum, Channels Television News.
The African Democratic Congress, the ADC, has clarified that the recent statements attributed to Representative Leke Abejide endorsing President Bola Tinubu's 2027 re-election bid does not reflect the party's position. Speaking in Abuja, the nation's capital, during the inauguration of the party's zonal and state congress and appeal committees, the ADC National Chairman Nafiu Bala reaffirms the party's status as a committed opposition force.
I also want to use this opportunity to categorically distance the party leadership of ADC from the statement made by the once Honorable Leke Joseph Abejide in support of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for the 2027 re-election campaign. This statement does not reflect the position of the African Democratic Congress as determining opposition party in Nigeria. We clearly rejected any association with this statement and reaffirmed our stand as a strong force in the nation's political space.
The chairman of the Lagos State Councillor Forum, Honorable Olakunle Williams, is asking the Nigeria Governors Forum and the Conference of Speakers of State Legislatures to take concrete steps to ensure the Supreme Court ruling on local government autonomy is fully implemented. Speaking exclusively to Channels Television, Honorable Williams highlighted the challenges currently facing local governance, emphasizing that local government are the primary engines of national development, and argued that until they are fully operational and independent, the vision of a more prosperous Nigeria will remain unattainable.
With all the experience I've gathered, I know that the best thing for this country is to have that local government autonomy for every local government and local council to be responsible for the development of their own people.
True.
Now, for whatever reason, this has been delayed or this has been having issues, I think we need to call more on the Governors Forum to ensure that, because the truth is the truth. Whether we like it or not, we won't be in power forever. But the country will always be there. So it is what we do now, ensuring that we have everything works well, at least in an ideal setting. So we need to call on the Governors Forum to try and work on this. And Conference of State House of Assembly. They are the lawmakers. They need to work on this. They need to ensure that each local government have the autonomy, like what we have in Lagos. You can see development. You can see development that's tried everywhere. Go to Alimosho, go to Bejuleki, go to Agboiketu, come to Lagos Island, go to Ikeja. You can see just because successive governments, administration in Lagos State have understand that, local government needs to breathe, local government needs to have the autonomy. So the truth be told, we don't get local government. Is when I got into local government administration that I realized that if we get local government right, everything will be good.
To catch the full interview, please watch Newsnight by 9 p.m. on Monday on all Channels television platforms. From politics, let's turn our attention to education. Vice President Kashim Shettima has ascribed education as a vital tool for economic development and a promotion of religious tolerance. The Vice President made this remark at the maiden convocation of Kashim Ibrahim University in Maiduguri, where he also commended Governor Babagana Zulum for prioritizing education despite ongoing security challenges in the region.
Vice President Kashim Shettima, on arrival in Maiduguri, inspects a quarter guard mounted in his honor before proceeding to the convocation square. Next is the procession by the Governing Council, other academic staff, and the graduates and students before Governor Babagana Zulum welcomes the dignitaries to the convocation venue.
Let me use this medium to express my profound appreciation and gratitude to the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, on behalf of the government and good people of our state, for establishing this university.
The Governor of Yobe State, Tumi Malabuni, and his Gombe State counterpart, Inuwa Yahya, gave goodwill messages applauding the Vice President and Governor Babagana Zulum for establishing the university and the massive infrastructural development.
On behalf of the government and good people of Yobe State, I want to sincerely congratulate the pioneer, the founder of this very university.
I want to salute you for the readiness, resilience, and the capacity to show whatever is done and getting to this milestone.
Shortly after decorating the Oni of Ife as the Chancellor of the University, the Oba congratulates the graduates and pledged to support the institution to become one of the best universities in the country.
It's a great honor for me to serve as the Chancellor of the University, and I want to thank the visitor, His Excellency Professor Zulum, for I will not disappoint all of you.
Vice President Kashim Shettima, who founded the university in 2016, describes education as an instrument of development.
Everything else may fail. Fortunes may change. Positions may be lost. But education remains the one inheritance that cannot be stripped away.
A total of 2,294 students from different faculties of the university graduated, and out of which 26 graduated with first-class degrees.
And in Kebbi State, the government has clarified that only schools located in cities and major towns have been directed to reopen. All public and private institutions in these areas are set to resume academic activities on Monday, January the 5th, 2026. The State Commissioner for Basic and Secondary Education, Dr. Halima Mohammed Bande, made this announcement while briefing journalists in Birnin Kebbi on Sunday.
We have received the directive from His Excellency Dr. Nasser Angwandu, the Executive Governor of Kebbi State, that the schools should be opened. The resumption date for our schools is 5th January 2026. So by this notice, all the schools in the state that are situated in the major cities of the state should resume. We have, the state government has intensified the security measures to secure the schools, to make the schools safe for learning. Therefore, all the schools, as I mentioned, that are situated in the town should resume tomorrow, 5th January 2026. However, schools that are situated in the outskirts of towns, particularly major towns in the states, are excluded from resumption.
Still ahead on the news at 10, NDLEA arrests 22 Indian crew members of a merchant vessel following the discovery of cocaine on board. Please stay with us.
And the National Productivity Order of Merit Award goes to...
The only tomato paste manufacturer to win the National Productivity Order of Merit Award by the federal government of Nigeria, endorsed by the Association of Private Medical Practitioners of Nigeria.
New Commodore Aromatic Schnapps is a beauty to behold, a true representation of today's man. Behind every success story is a spirit of blessings, and that comes with a new look Commodore Aromatic Schnapps. When great things happen, we gather with the spirit of answered prayers and dedicate our very own as we pray for their endeavors. Ashe. Made from distinctive quality ingredients by Intercontinental Distillers Limited. Commodore Aromatic Schnapps, the spirit of answered prayers.
Welcome to Wadi Bay. The thrill is called
sports bets and casino games. The stakes are rising. Play your way, the chance is near. With competitive odds, the win is clear. Wadi Bet, bet smart, win big, feel alive. Lightning payouts, non-stop vibes. Your journey to greatness, it's here, it's begun. Wadi Bet!
The education sector in Nigeria faced significant challenges in the year 2025, with security concerns emerging as a major obstacle, while schools have increasingly become targets for bandits and extremist groups who frequently abduct students and staff for ransom. While the federal government has implemented various strategies to combat school abductions, including military-led rescue operations and enhanced school security, many stakeholders argue that these measures remain largely reactive and ineffective. In continuation of our assessment of various sectors in the year 2025, our next report examines the state of education sector, highlighting both ongoing challenges and the need for sustainable solutions.
The year 2025 began on a relatively peaceful note, without interruption in the nation's academic calendar, as schools remained open for the better part of the year. In November 2025, the peaceful atmosphere was truncated as gunmen abducted 303 pupils and 12 staff members from a school in Niger State, with 50 children escaping. Earlier in the year, 25 students were taken from a government girls' boarding school in Kebbi State, with the vice principal killed. These incidents forced the federal government to shut down 47 unity schools. Despite the attacks on the schools, the federal government insists that Nigeria will not yield to agents of destabilization.
A promise that insecurity will not define our national identity. A promise that Nigeria can, West Africa can, and will definitely turn the page. A promise that together we can build a secured and united and prosperous West Africa with Nigeria living.
The issue of out-of-school children remains a major challenge with conflicting figures.
Let there be partnership. When we do the identification, we give you put them in the school. Once that is done, this handshake between the federal government and the state government, between our commission and the ministries of education in all the statistics, believe you me, before the end of 2027, we are going to address not less than 60% of the issue of out-of-school children.
Determined to address the challenge, the federal government announced plans to promote the girl-child education.
Our goal is bold: to reach 1 million out-of-school girls by 2030, the most ambitious target of its kind in recent years, not merely in numbers, but in its transformative part.
Against the backdrop of protecting the integrity of certificates issued by examination bodies in Nigeria, the federal government issued a Riot Act. Despite the warning, the Joint Admissions and Matriculations Board witnessed a major glitch, resulting in a mass failure of candidates.
To the candidates and those affected by the error of our system to accept the explanation I've given as the truth on this matter. I apologize and take full responsibility, not just in words.
A panel was inaugurated, and after some weeks, the panel uncovered massive sharp practices with 190 artificial intelligence cheats.
This fraud is not the work of candidates alone. It is sustained by syndicates involving some CBT centers, schools, parents, tutorial operators, and even technical accomplices.
The year 2025 witnessed the introduction of some policies aimed at improving the sector. These include the training of 1 million youths under the technical and vocational education training, the launch of a $40 million ICT project for federal universities, and the launch of the Institution Staff Support Fund.
On the part of sustainability, we're dedicating, the President has given the approval to dedicate 5% of TED Fund budget to support technical vocational education and training.
Some other significant events in the year under review is the issue of admission shortfalls and the proposal to restructure the 6334 system, which generated some controversies.
I want to clear
the sensationalization that has gone out since yesterday, that the Federal Ministry of Education, the federal government has scrapped GSS and SS, primary school GSS and SS education. We have not. That still stays. What we're saying is that we need to move from what we have now as 9 years compulsory education to 12 years of compulsory education.
Although the security situation has led to increased absenteeism, with over 20 million children set to be out of school in Nigeria, according to UNESCO, President Bola Tinubu has vowed to increase efforts to protect schools and students through the Safe Schools initiative aimed at improving security around the schools.
And away from education, the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project, SERAP, has called on President Bola Tinubu to direct the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, and relevant anti-corruption agencies to investigate claims that over 128 billion naira has gone missing or has been diverted from the Ministry of Power and the Nigerian Bulk Electricity Trading PLC. According to a statement by SERAP's Deputy Director, Kolawole Oluwadare, these allegations are detailed in the Auditor General's latest annual report, published on September the 9th, 2025. SERAP has emphasized that anyone found responsible should face prosecution if sufficient evidence exists, and all missing or misappropriated funds must be fully recovered and returned to the Treasury. The organization is also asking that recovered funds be used to close the 2026 budget deficit and help reduce Nigeria's growing debt burden. Mr. Oluwadare says that Nigerians continue to suffer from widespread corruption in the power sector, stressing that ensuring justice and accountability is essential for public interest. Operatives of the Nigeria National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, the NDLEA, have intercepted multiple consignments of illicit drugs concealed in coffee sachets and book parcels destined for Zambia and the United Kingdom. In a related operation, the agency arrested 22 Indian crew members of a merchant vessel, MV Aruna Hulia, after 31.5 kilograms of cocaine were discovered hidden in one of the ship's hatches at the Apapa port in Lagos. The vessel reportedly sailed from the Marshall Islands. Meanwhile, in Oyo State, NDLEA operatives apprehended a 65-year-old suspected drug kingpin, Fatima Ilori, popularly known as Mama Kerosene, following the seizure of more than 238 kilograms of skunk in Ibadan, the state capital. We head to Borno State, where the agency disrupted drug supply networks linked to insurgents with the arrest of 2 suspects and the seizure of large quantities of tramadol injections and capsules along the major highways and within markets. Further operations across Lagos, Kwara, and Jigawa states resulted in the recovery of hundreds of kilograms of skunk and the arrest of several suspected drug traffickers. The federal government is collaborating with the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, to empower over 25,000 youth and women in various aspects of agriculture across the Niger Delta region. This initiative, known as the Livelihood Improvement Family Enterprises Project in the Niger Delta region, is implemented in partnership with the Niger Delta Development Commission, and it is aimed at boosting agribusiness and enhancing economic opportunities in the oil-rich region.
This is part of efforts to improve the agricultural potential of the Niger Delta region. The government, through the Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, in collaboration with the International Fund for Agricultural Development, IFAD, and the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, is empowering young people and women in the rural communities to improve their means of livelihood through the Livelihood Improvement Family Enterprises Project for the Niger Delta. The project is designed to transform the rural community of the Niger Delta by empowering unemployed or underemployed youth and women-headed households through sustainable agribusiness with a 50% female participation rate.
The pilot for 10 local governments and each of the local government 10 communities. So that basically has been our current challenge.
Agriculture has given us a lot of revenue in what you are doing. So if you're putting your mind to it, you're very zealous in what you're doing, agriculture is going to give you a lot.
The project covers the 9 states under the Niger Delta Commission. It has a total estimated cost of $97.8 million, with IFAD providing $60 million and the NDDC contributing $30 million. The beneficiaries are trained in specific agricultural value chains, including poultry, aquaculture, cassava, oil palm, rice, plantain, and cocoa.
At least my incubatees are feeding well now. They were empowered and they use the money and enter the river around dry season farming. Which they are doing now. They can sell 1 bundle of ogolis, that's pumpkin, for 10,000 naira each.
The project uses an incubator-incubatee model where established agri-entrepreneurs mentor new trainees until they launch their own profitable enterprises.
Those who do not own farms but are interested in agriculture, we make sure we reach out to those who have interest so that the entire system is not wasted.
From farms to fisheries, from youth to women. The project is considered transformational as the federal government hopes to empower more communities for the nation to thrive.
And some women in Jos Plateau State have also lost loved ones and are facing hardship. They're rebuilding their lives through a new empowerment program. Under this initiative, known as Thread and Light, the women receive free training in tailoring and craft, equipping them with skills to generate income and regain financial independence. Our correspondent Percy Dabang tells us more.
As the day begins, the women arrive at the training center and settle into their workstations. Some are touching sewing machines for the first time. Others are improving skills they never imagined they would need. For widows recovering from loss, this daily routine marks the first step towards independence.
As I found myself here, I find it encouraging. At least I can have something, use my hand to do something. And because at times all this craft program, they provide all the materials we use, but after you have sold something, they'll still give you something again. So it's really important.
Thread and Light began 21 years ago with just 6 widows in a small room. Today, it has trained more than 300 widows, providing skills in tailoring, craft making, and small business management.
Each woman has a different situation. Some are worse off than others. So yeah, it's very tailored towards each woman. We help them with school fees. We help them with homes if they need. We disciple them. We train them in tailoring, of course. Train them in small business management, hoping that when they finally get their skill, then they're able to run their business as well.
From colorful dresses and children's outfits to travel bags, handbags, aprons, and handmade accessories, the products made here reflect both quality and care. Each item is produced by the widows themselves and sold to support their families and sustain the program. Each woman is trained according to her personal situation. Materials are provided, lunch is served daily, transportation support is offered, and the women are paid for every item they produce, even their very first attempt.
Our dear righteous God, we give you thanks for knowing you adore your name.
Beyond learning a trade, the center has become a place of emotional and spiritual healing, where widows share their stories, pray together, and draw strength from one another.
This place is like a chatterbox. That's talk.
the way they respond, the way they start is not the same way. After 2 weeks, you see changes. You see, they accept their situation. They know that they are not the only ones in it. And they talk to each other, oh, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm doing. We pray for one another. And it has been encouraging them. So I look at this place as a happy place for widows.
The impact of this support reaches beyond the women themselves. 5 children of widows supported here have already graduated from university, and many of the women have gone on to start their own small businesses.
Learning so many things like the tailoring, the crafts, and so many things, and it's helping me in so many ways. Because if I sew, if I submit it, they will give me percentage. So from there, I will get something to help my children and myself.
Customers who patronize the center say every purchase carries a deeper meaning.
Getting to patronize them by supporting and supporting the women and empowering them to use the tools that God has given them to support themselves and their families, it's very special.
From grief to growth, Thread and Light is proving that empowerment, not pity, is the foundation of recovery. For widows in Jos, every stitch is a symbol of resilience, dignity, and renewed hope. Percy Dabang, Channels Television News.
In the world of sports, host Morocco are into the AFCON 2025 quarterfinals after beating a defiant Tanzania 1-0 in Rabat earlier this evening. After a tight first half, Brahim Diaz's header was saved and Ayoub El Kabi nodded wide for the tournament host. Ashraf Hakimi hit the crossbar with a fierce free kick before Brahim broke the deadlock, lashing in from a tight angle. The goal was Diaz's 4th of the tournament, taking him very clear at the top of the scoring charts and once again underlining his importance to Morocco's title ambitions. The Wayne now hands Walid's side a spot in the last 8 on Friday. The Super Eagles head coach Eric Chell says that he will rather focus on picking a good result against the Mambas of Mozambique on Monday night and not talks of playing in their 18th quarterfinals at the Africa Cup of Nations. The only 3 times the 3-time African champions have failed to reach the quarterfinals at the AFCON were at their debut in Ghana in 1963, at the 13th edition in Libya in 1982, and in Cameroon just 4 years ago.
This is not the question about the GNFF, this is the question about the official and the group and me. Game after game, we want to become ambitious. We think about just the next game. We want to win the next game. And if God give us the chance to go to the quarterfinal, we will think about the quarterfinal. But now we think about this game against Mozambique, and we want to win this game. So, to answer to your question, yeah, we are under pressure.
Since the beginning of this competition, we've been on red alerts for every game. This game is now a different game. As I said before, every team in this tournament is capable of winning the trophy. So for us, we're more focused on ourselves, focus on our training, focus on our plan, and then we go to the game with our plan and our focus. So whatever team we meet, whatever team we want to meet, Mozambique or any other team in this tournament, the focus is just on us.
And Egypt coach Hossam Hassan says that he is expecting a very tough and hard-fought match against Benin in the last 16 of the Africa Cup of Nations. The Pharaohs are unbeaten during the group phase of the tournament as they recorded wins over Zimbabwe and South Africa before jotting down a goalless draw against Angola in match day 3. Their opponents, Benin, made their own way out of Group D as one of the best third-placed sides at the showpiece. Let's turn our attention to the English Premier League now, where MSU saved Manchester United from a rare defeat against fierce rivals Leeds as the Brazilians' equaliser salvaged a 1-1 draw at Elland Road earlier today. Well, Ruben Amorim's side trailed to Brendan Arson's second-half strike before Kenneth dragged them level moments later. Igor's hat-trick helped Brentford to a 4-2 win over Everton, just the Bees' third away win of the season to move Keith Andrews' side into the Premier League's top 7. And for Newcastle United, Captain Bruno also inspired his own side to victory as they began the new year with a hard-fought 2-0 victory against Crystal Palace. Spurs and Sunderland played a 1-1 draw. Fulham and Liverpool settled for a 2-2 draw at Craven Cottage. Enzo Fernandez dealt a massive blow to Manchester City's Premier League title hopes with a 94th minute equaliser to snatch a 1-1 draw for managerless Chelsea at the Etihad. Away from sports but outside our shores, Venezuela President Nicolas Maduro and his wife will be appearing at the federal Manhattan court on Monday following their capture and extradition to the United States. And it comes as Venezuelan Vice President denounces the U.S. government's intervention and recent activities on the ground amidst Trump's comments about the U.S. running Venezuela.
Venezuelan Vice President Delcy Rodriguez is proving she's no ally to Trump nor the United States. During a press conference on Saturday, hours after the U.S. President Donald Trump announced Maduro was now in their custody, she demanded the immediate release of the president and his wife. She told the press conference that Maduro is the only president of Venezuela. Following Maduro's hailed capture by President Trump, she denounced Washington's true objective is the seizure of Venezuela's mineral and natural resources, and that the world and the international community must know that this is the case. There is no more talk about her cooperation with the U.S., and the Venezuelan army says it backs her as interim leader. The defense minister, Vladimir Padrino, says a large part of Maduro's security team and innocent civilians were harmed in the attack by the United States, but that the Venezuelan armed forces firmly rejects what it calls the cowardly kidnapping of Maduro and his wife. U.S. President Donald Trump threatened Rodriguez, saying if she does not do what is right, she's going to pay a very big price, probably bigger than Maduro. Hours since the U.S. intervention, normalcy slowly returns to the Venezuelan capital, Caracas. But outside, reactions are mixed. One Chinese military expert said the U.S. military action in Venezuela was a targeted operation aimed at removing the country's leadership and securing control over its strategic oil resources instead of anti-narcotics crackdown, as Washington claims. He did say the operation had been effective, despite what he describes as clear violations of international law. Neighboring Latin American countries have condemned the U.S. actions and indicated support for Rodriguez, as did Venezuela's long-term allies, Russia and China. China saying it was deeply shocked and strongly condemns the U.S. use of force against a sovereign country and its president.
And the main news again. President Bola Tinubu today directed security agencies to track down terrorists responsible for the attack in Kasuwandaji in Niger State and ensure they are brought to justice. At least 25 people have been killed, while 14 others are missing following a boat mishap in Nguru local government area of Yobe State. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Anne Mwawado. Have a productive week ahead. Good night.